Good morning, Year 5, and welcome to Week 3 of Virtual Maths. And this week we're going to be learning all about perimeter. So, what does the word perimeter actually mean? And if I asked you to find the perimeter of the three shapes in front of you, what would you have to do? To find the perimeter of a shape, you have to add the lengths of all the sides, because the perimeter is the total distance around the outside of a 2D shape. And if I asked you to find the perimeter of these shapes, you would have to add up this length plus this length plus this length. So sometimes when you're asked to find the perimeter, the measurements of the sides are actually already there, which is very helpful. So to find the perimeter of this shape, I would have to add up 8 centimetres, add 6 centimetres, add 8 centimetres, add another 6 centimetres. And that gives me 28 centimetres. And it is very, very important that you remember to put this centimetres. Okay, you must put your unit of measure at the end. So do you think there's a quicker way of finding the perimeter of this shape? Last time I went 8 centimetres, add 6 centimetres, add 8 centimetres, add 6 centimetres, which is quite long. So is there a quicker way of finding the perimeter of the shape? And so here we have to think about what we know about this shape. Well, we know it's a rectangle, and we know that rectangles have two pairs of sides that are the same length. So we can see the lengths are both 8 centimetres and the widths are both 6 centimetres. So what we could do 2 times the length and 2 times the width. So we would multiply 2 times by 8 centimetres, which would give us 16 centimetres, and then 2 times by 6 centimetres, which would give us 12. And then all we have to do is add them together and we get exactly the same answer, which is 28 centimetres. Now sometimes we're given a shape and we have to find the perimeter, but we're not given the measurements. So what do you think we need to use here to help us find the measurements of this shape? That's right, we need to use our ruler. And we're going to use our ruler to accurately measure each side of this shape. So firstly, we're going to measure the length, and I can clearly see that this is 8 centimetres long. And I'm going to make sure I write that down on my shape so I don't forget. I'm now going to measure the width. And the width of this shape is 4 centimetres. So now I'm going to use my knowledge, and I know this is a rectangle, to find the opposite width. And I know that rectangles have widths that are the same size. So I know that the opposite width is 4 centimetres, and then the opposite length is going to be 8 centimetres. Well done. So now I've found the length of each of my sides. What do I need to do to find my perimeter? That's right, I need to add all the sides up together. So 8 centimetres, and I might use the method I learned earlier. So I'm going to times the length by 2, so 8 times by 2, which gives me 16. And then the width, so 4 times by 2, which gives me 8. And then I'm going to do 16, add 8, which gives me 24. And I must remember 24 centimetres. So now I've got another shape in front of me. Can anybody remember what type of shape this is? Well, let's have a look at the sides and see if that will help. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So it's got 5 sides. Was anybody able to remember? This shape is called a pentagon. And we find the perimeter of a pentagon by adding all the sides up, just like we did with the rectangle before. So first of all, I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to measure the sides of the pentagon. Brilliant, so I can see that this is 4 centimeters long. So what can we remember about pentagons? What do we know about the sides of a pentagon? That's right, all the sides on a regular pentagon are the same. So if that is 4 centimeters long, this side will be 4 centimeters long, as will this one, and this one, and this one. So to find the length, the perimeter of this rectangle, I'm going to do 4 centimeters times by 5 because I've got 5 sides. So 4 times by 5 gives me 20. Or, to double check, I could do 4, add 4, add 4, add 4, and add another 4, which gives me 20. 5 lots of 4 give me 20. But don't forget 20 centimeters because we're finding the perimeter. We must put that unit of measure, which is centimeters. Let's have a look at the shapes in front of me. So we've got to find out which shape has the longest perimeter, and we've not been given any sides here, so I know that I'm going to have to use my ruler to find out the perimeter of each of the shapes. I'll then be able to compare which one has the longest perimeter. Okay, so now we're just going to have a look at seeing which one of these shapes has the longest perimeter. So first thing I need to do is get my ruler and I need to measure each of the sides to find the length. So I can see that one to the nearest centimetre is 4 centimetres. I measure this one, 5 centimetres. Don't forget, you must include these little ones here as well. They're really easy to miss out. So 1 centimetre, 2 centimetres, another 2 centimetres, and I know these are the same length because I can see a rectangle here, so I know that is going to be 2 centimetres as well. And then we have 7 centimetres. You've got to be really careful you don't miss out any of the lines. I've got 3 centimetres and finally 2 centimetres. So now to find the perimeter of this shape, we're going to add up all the sides together. So I'm going to tick them off after I've added them. And I can see I've got lots of 2, so I'm going to add them all together. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Instead of just adding plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, because that would take me a long time. And then add 7, tick it off so I know I've done it so I don't forget any, and finally add 1. Give it a tick. So I'm going to add these up, so I'm going to look for numbers that are easy to add. 10 add 5, I know is 15, add 4, 19, add my 1 is 20, and finally 27. But don't forget, you must put your centimetres on there. Okay? So now I'm going to have a look at this shape. So this one's a little bit easier, less sides. So again, I'm going to measure the sides. I've got 6 centimetres, 7 centimetres, 4 centimetres, 4 centimetres again. Then I've got 3 centimetres and 2 centimetres, so that one was a lot quicker. So I'm going to add these 4s together to give me 8, and then I'm going to add the 6, give it a tick so you know you've done it, add the 3, and add the 7. So first of all, I can very quickly see number 1 is to 10, 7 and 3 is 10. Add the 8, which gives me 18, and then add the 6, which gives me 24. And don't forget your centimetres. So which one has the largest perimeter? I know that it's this shape here, because this one is 27, whereas that one is 24. What we have now is a question that's going to make us have a think about everything we've learned today. And it's a true or false question. So we have to prove whether this statement is true or false. The perimeter of this shape is 26 centimetres. So I've got to work out, is that true or is that false? Well, I can see that I've not been given any of the sides of this shape. I don't know the lengths of them yet. What I do know is that this shape has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. It's got 6 sides. So what shape do we know that has 6 sides? It's a hexagon. It's a regular hexagon. And similarly to the pentagon, we know that regular hexagons have all sides the same length. So lock that up in your brain and remember that, because that's going to help you answer this question. So first thing I need to do is I'm going to measure one of the sides. So I know that this shape, this side here, is 4 centimetres long. So if that side's 4 centimetres long, I also know that this side is 4 centimetres long, as well as all the other sides. And it's got 6 sides. So I could do 6 lots of 4. So I could do 4, add 4, add 4, add 4, add 4, add 4. Or I could do 6 lots of 4. And the answer's 24 centimetres. So was the question true or false? The question was false, because we know that the perimeter of this shape is actually 26 centimetres. So one more question for us to have a go at before you start your work for today. Freya says, I used a ruler to measure the shape below. The perimeter is 12 centimetres. And the question asks you, what mistake has Freya made? Prove it. So before we even start this question, we know that Freya has made a mistake. So we've got to prove what the mistake is. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our ruler and we're going to measure each side. Okay, so we've measured the first side and it's 9 centimetres. And the second side, which is 3 centimetres. So 9 and 3 is 12 centimetres. So where's she gone wrong? What has she forgotten to do? Has she measured all the sides of the shape? No, she hasn't. She's forgotten to measure the opposite sides. So now we've got all 4 sides of the rectangle. I'm going to do my 2 lengths first. So 2 times 9, which gives me 18. And then I'm going to do 2 times my widths. So 2 times by 3, which gives me 6. I'm then going to do 18, add 6, and my answer is 24 centimetres. So her mistake was Freya had only added 2 of the 4 sides, not all 4 sides. Okay, you've done some fantastic listening today, and it's time for you to start your work. Your first task is to measure the perimeter of the rectangles. You need to make sure you measure these to the nearest centimetre. So if you get near 6 centimetres, measure it to the nearest centimetre. So that would be 6. Okay, you're then going to measure the perimeter of these shapes. Don't forget, you need to measure every single side. Don't forget these little ones, these little sides here. Sometimes they trick you and you might miss them out. Okay, you're then going to have a look at which shape has the longest perimeter. So again, you've got to measure each of the sides, find out the perimeter of this shape, find out the perimeter of this shape, and then work out which one's the largest. And this is a similar question for you to practice that skill. For this question, I would like you to draw a rectangle with a perimeter of more than 12 centimetres, but less than 16. So you've got to remember, what are the features of a rectangle? We have two pairs of equal sides. Okay, so that one's quite a tricky one. Maybe have a couple of practice goes at that one, but really think about what properties a rectangle has. You know that you need the lengths of your rectangle to be the same, and you know that you need the widths of your rectangle to be the same. And then finally, your challenge, true or false, the perimeters of these shapes are the same, and you have to prove it. Okay? Is it true or is it false? Good luck with your work today. I'm looking forward to seeing you uploading this work on Dojo and have some fun.